Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on tree diagrams. This video will look at some miscellaneous examples which may be a little challenging. The first one we'll look at is tossing two coins. If two coins are tossed in the air, the following diagram helps us to see all the possible outcomes. It is called a tree diagram, and it is a very useful tool that helps us to visualize many problems, especially those associated with probability and sample spaces. So basically we have the start here, and you just look at each situation, and in this example we're tossing two coins, and basically it goes like this. For the first toss, let's assume you can toss one coin at a time, so it makes it easy to understand. So for the first coin, you have a choice of either head or tail. That's all you've got. Now, for the second toss, if the first coin was a head, the second coin can be head or tail, because that's the second toss. But if the first toss was a tail, then the second toss can be a head or a tail. Now you can see it looks like a tree that's fallen down, because if that's the base of the tree, and here you've got all the branches, and it's lying sideways. That's why we call it a tree diagram. Now to get the sample spaces, or all the possible outcomes, all you do is you climb to the top of the tree that's lying down. You climb to the top section, and you go through HH. Then you've got to come to this section here, so you go HT. Then you come here to give you TH, and finally you've got TT. So you have those four possible outcomes. So hence there are four possible outcomes when two coins are tossed, and they are these ones. The above outcomes allow us to answer the following questions. Always in probability, when you have worked out all the outcomes, then you can answer whatever questions you need. The first one, what is the probability that two heads will show up? So you want the probability of HH. There's only one HH, and there are four possibilities, so the probability will be 1 over 4. What is the probability that two tails will show up? Exactly the same reason. There's only one TT with four possibilities, so the probability is 1 over 4. What is the probability that the faces on the two coins will be different? I've just repeated the sample space here to make it easy for us. So we want the probability that the faces on the two coins are different. That means it'll be a head, tail, or tail, head. Well, there are two of those. So two of those out of four possibilities gives you a half. What is the probability that the faces on the two coins will be the same? That is, they're both heads or they're both tails. So there are two of those. There's one there and one there. So that's 2 over 4, which is a half. What is the probability that no heads will show up? No heads. Well, there's the only chance that no heads will show up when you throw two tails, which is a quarter. What is the probability that at least one head will show up? Now, one head means no heads, one heads, or two heads. That'll be 3 over 4. What is the probability that three heads will show up? The probability of three heads showing up will be 0 over 4, because you only have two coins, so you can't have three heads. Now here, this is a more involved one where we have three coins that are tossed. It's the same thing. You do the tree diagram. This time you have the first toss, the second toss, and the third toss. So you can see quite straightforward. So I'll just do the first couple. If the first toss is a head, the second toss can be a head or a tail. If the first two tosses are heads, the third toss can be a head or a tail. If the first two tosses are a head or a tail, The third toss can be a head or a tail, and you keep building it up like that. And then with your reading, H, 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 T, H, T, H, H, T, T. So there are 4 possibilities, then you've got those 4 there. We can see that there are 8 possible outcomes. Just a couple of questions. What is the probability that 3 tails will show up? Well, that's the only possibility there, which is 1 over 8. Because there it is there. There are 3 tails, and it's 1 chance in 8. What is the probability that only 2 heads will show up? Now, for 2 heads, you have that possibility, and that possibility. They're the only ones you've got. See, so there are 3 of them, so the probability is 3 over 8. So this video has introduced the idea of the tree diagram, and we've seen 2 examples with the tossing of 2 coins, then 3 coins, how the tree diagram is built up, how we find the sample space, and then we've seen how we can answer some questions.